Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie. I'm continuing here our series on happiness and meaning. So I just want to remind you once again the differences between the two. So remember, happiness is really what we determine ourselves as what makes us content. Oftentimes it involves pleasure. It's a little more fleeting. And meaning technically is something that's more comprehensive. It's like a comprehensive sense of purpose and feeling of accomplishment, bigger and more and beyond your own self. So remember, happiness is more fleeting. Typically it can be just something that's in the moment, whether you're content, it's pleasurable, and your meaning is a higher sense of purpose. Now, I will let you know, interestingly enough, I grew up in a family, for what it's worth, that my mother always said, you have to be skinny in order to be healthy. That's right. So that was like a message that was kind of, it wasn't really overt, but it was so subliminal, and it exists to this day, where my sister and I kind of joke around where she'll say, "Oh, how's so and so?" and I'll say, "Well, they're not doing too well." She'll say, "Oh, they must have gotten fat." Because in theory, the joke is in my family, if you're skinny you must be happy, and if you're fat you have to be sad. But that absolutely is not true. It's a shame that those are messages that were given to me and in my family throughout the years. But hey, say la vie. Just because you have these messages given to you doesn't mean that you can't change and reprogram these tapes in your mind. I mean, I bought into it years ago, but definitely I don't buy into it now. It's something that once again, happiness is something that we all do make a choice, but it's related more toward being, like I said, being in here and now, being in the moment. But in terms of, I just want to talk a little bit about whether or not you see your life as being easy or difficult. So some people think that I call it which hand you were dealt. And some people were born in a first world country, other people were born in a third world country. Other people were born into a rich family. Some were born into a poor family. Some have a lot of, really are really, really intelligent. Other people have a harder time, whether maybe they have a learning disability, or they have a hard time remembering. They might have, dyslexia, or just a whole bunch of other what we would consider challenges or liabilities, or things that make growing up and maybe going to school a little bit more difficult. So it all boils down to whether or not you see your life as being easy or difficult. That will affect your happiness. So I'm going to repeat that. So your happiness is directly related as to whether or not you see your own life as being easy, kind of a cakewalk, or hard. So once again, it's all perception. You could have two different people who are twins. They could have been brought up in the same family, had the same set of circumstances, had everything been the same. And one can see, one maybe the girl sees her life as being really, really difficult and really hard, and maybe her brother sees things as being easy and just a breeze. So they grew up in the same environment, but it's how they envision it and how they label it. It's their own personal perspective. So just because you grew up rich, just because you grow up in an area where you have all the life's privileges, don't think that is an automatic guarantee for happiness. And I'll tell you what, it makes me think of this. One of the most famous Greek people in the world and richest people in the world is, I guess he's dead now. His name is Aristotle Onassis. And he actually married the widow, Jackie Kennedy, of JFK. So after our president JFK was assassinated, Jackie was single for a while, and then Jackie remarried this Aristotle Onassis, and he was a shipping magnate in Greece. One of the world's richest men at the time. He was the Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos of his time. A multi-billionaire, and he only had one daughter, Christina. And I'll never forget, she grew up, and then she ended up taking her life. And I remember thinking when I read about her suicide, I thought, oh, that's such a shame. Of course it's a shame anytime anybody takes their lives. But I thought, it was just so incredibly shocking to me, because in my mind, I thought, oh, she must have had a really easy life because she was rich and she had all the things that money could buy. So, you know, best schools, best education, best chance for success. And look, I never met her. I don't know her. I have no idea what happened in her life. But clearly, you know, my idea is that I thought her life was easy slash happy. But clearly for her, it wasn't. You know, whether or not she, you know, she just had I don't know if she was depressed, or I have no idea what happened. But you know, typically I think, you know, when you're really happy and you're having a great time in life, you're not going to kill yourself. So once again, I bring that up to say that there's an example that somebody to the outside world that might look at that person has everything going for them. Their life is easy. It should be like smooth sailing, and it wasn't. She ended up taking her life, and she ended up dying. And how horrible is that? So there you go. So it's how you define your life, how you see your life, as whether it's easy or hard, as to those do relate to directly to your levels of happiness. So maybe give that next time you think about your own life. Ask yourself, is my life hard or is it easy? You know, I would say that my life, look, sometimes I think it's really, really hard, but in the general scheme of things, I think my life is pretty darn easy. So I'm very thankful and very grateful. I have great friends, great family, great colleagues here at work. And so overall, you know, we're still working here during this virus when a lot of people had challenges with work. We're still safe. We're in a place that's relatively safe. We have no direct infections here. So overall, I'm very happy and have an extreme, so yeah, pretty easy life. And then they're happy. So we'll talk about another one of these relationships between happiness. And I'll tell you, so whether your life is considered easy or happy, that is related to happiness, but actually has nothing to do with your meaning. So once again, has nothing to do with your purpose. There's whether or not you see your life as being easy or hard, it does not correlate. There's no relationship to the meaning in your life. So isn't that interesting? Doesn't matter. So you can still have, so even if you think your life is hard, even if you have the most difficult life in the whole world, even if you know, let's say you've lost your job, let's say you've lost your spouse, let's say you've been divorced, you lost your job, you lost your business, you see life as really, 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 really hard, really difficult. Maybe right now you're going through some of the biggest challenges of your life, and you see your life as being absolutely 100%. If there's 100% of being difficult or easy, you think it's 100% hard. Well, guess what? It doesn't have anything to do with your meaning. So you can have the hardest life in the world and still have absolute amazing meaning and sense of purpose and fulfillment in your life. So that's something I'm happy for and grateful for. So continue watching my Happiness and Meaningful series as we talk more about how these things relate to your own life and how you can create a better world and life for yourself. Thank you.